Shalom, family. Once again, checking in for a little bit. It's another edition of Spiritual Food for Thought. As I always say, family, I hope that, that in spite of all the stuff that's going on and coming against us in these hours, family, I just pray that, that continuing to fight the fight and hang in there. Bottom line is, right now, family, the time of our deliverance is at hand. As we continue to see the Father move upon the hearts of his people. And now we're beginning to really see a manifestation of things that ultimately are going to manifest the people of the Most High. I said in a video a while back, the Most High is going to prove those that are his. And he's going to deliver us through the power of nature, as he's going to prove to favor us as his children. Because the Father always did deliver us through nature. You know what I'm saying? And because nature is everything that the Most High is. It's his sovereignty, it's a manifestation of his sovereignty, his omniscience, everything that he is as Elohim. Because the power of nature is subject to his divine will. And so ultimately, family, what he desires to accomplish and what he's going to accomplish through what we're beginning to see unfold right now, family, is the manifestation of his kingdom. And so we can't be dismayed by things that we're seeing, the negative things that's coming forth, family, because, the Most High promised that we will overcome these things through the understanding of his Ruach. See, this world is not the world of the Father. Yeshua came when Yeshua said, this kingdom, my kingdom is not of this world, okay? Because the Most High the whole time had the kingdom of the Most High power, the finished work, the manifestation of the oneness of his divine love through all his creation. So therefore, we're able to operate in the spirit of his divine love that causes us to accept ourselves through the eyes of the Creator as he shows us his love towards us. Though then we can no longer continue to walk in the spirit of self-hatred or feeling like we're lacking or anything. But the reality is, family, because of the truth of his divine love and his desire for us as his children, family, this thing actually humbles us. And we begin to lose the things that we were given by this world. Because, in our present state right now, family, we've received our identity from the world. So therefore, the world has desired for us to be his slaves, and that's what we've been. But the Most High desires for us to be alive unto him, so that we can manifest the kingdom of the Most High through the understanding of his mind, family, that all he ever wanted us to be is ourselves, but with the understanding of his mind. As I said, Yeshua came in this world to be an example of what and who we really are through the power of the Spirit that causes the same Ruach that caused him to walk in total obedience to Father and deny himself his whole life. That same Ruach has been given to us and offered to us. So the bottom line is for the asking. You know what I'm saying? The scripture says that the Father will freely give his Ruach to those who ask. Gladly and freely give his Ruach to those who ask. So the thing is, family, we got to understand. We got to seek the Most High for ourselves, because only our Elohim can tell us his divine will for our lives as his creation. Okay? All of us are unique with a purpose and a responsibility. And until we come into the presence of our Elohim, and this is what the Ruach does. It brings us into the presence of our Elohim. So as we're in his presence, family, we can't sin against him. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is every man has to give an account of his own life. So if we're so busy generalizing things and making it sound like it's just one thing, but the bottom line is we never get to find out really who we are as far as the Most High is concerned. So therefore, we wind up living a lie. And so this is what I'm saying, family. We must desire to know how the Father sees us so we can become what he desires. Our biggest enemy is our understanding of self. Okay? We understand self through the spirit of pride that causes us to deify our own self and our desires above the desires of the Most High Power. This is why the only thing that changes us is as we're born of his spirit. So then we understand and perceive ourselves through the eyes of understanding that we are created beings and that we was created to serve the Most High Power. You know what I'm saying? With all our heart, soul, and mind as his children. So that means we come into agreement with his perfect will. And so that's what causes us, family, to walk in obedience, because the Spirit gives us the understanding of Elohim that causes us to see ourselves through his eyes, to understand his purpose and his desires and all these. And so as created beings that was filled with his Spirit, we are subject to the perfect will of our Elohim. So the bottom line is, by nature, we're able to walk in obedience to him, because this is about the nature of the kingdom and the oneness of his divine love, where ultimately all of creation would be filled with the earth would be filled with the knowledge and understanding of the Most High Power, where we as his children, we will understand our purpose and our place. So therefore we'll be able to freely walk in the revelation of understanding that the Father, all he wants from us as his children is to be able to understand ourselves through his mind, so that we can begin to love ourselves in humility with the spirit of his divine love, and basically fulfill our destiny on this journey to his kingdom, as well as continuing on in that walk once we get to the kingdom. You know, the Most High didn't mean for none of us to be the same. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that's supposed to bind us together is the spirit of the Most High. But all of us got to understand our own purpose, our place, and how the Father sees us and what he desires to bring forth in us to be a part of the manifestation of his kingdom. So family, with that said, I just pray, like I said, that we're hanging in there. We got to, because the Father is moving. The Spirit is moving today. And this is what we need a greater portion of, family, is the understanding of our Creator through his Ruach, so that we can know what we need to pray for, what we need to seek about, all of these things. You know what I'm saying? And nothing about our own strength and desires, but the reality that the Spirit of the Most High is moving upon his people, causing us to turn from our own wicked ways and our self-awareness that separated him, delivering us out of religion and all the man-made doctrines and dogmas and teachings of men and doctrines of devils that's enslaved us all to this world. You know what I'm saying? But greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. He that begun a good work in us will be loyal to complete it. And it's now unto him that's able to keep us from falling and present us blameless. But we all have to have our own experience with the Most High, because as he's able to clean us up and give us the understanding we need, that ultimately we're going to come together. The Most High is going to manifest his people as a nation, that no one will be able to deny it any longer, because the Most High is going to turn our captivity, and he's going to manifest who his chosen people are. We don't have to keep telling everybody and all that kind of stuff, family. The Most High is going to show it. Because, you know, pretty much, family, being honest, you know, the world looks at us and we ain't nothing like the people of the promise. You know, we've been identified by these curses. But the bottom line is, the other nations, as long as we continue to be bound in these curses, family, they don't see a people that's favored by the Most High. So it has to be the power of the Spirit rising up in us that cause us to be really who we really are, and start carrying ourselves in the spirit of the oneness of his divine love, that we have love for one another, that we have love for our fellow creatures and Mother Earth and who he brought us forth from. Because we've been a people, basically, family, we've been denied nature. Because a lot of us don't know, because we've been in these concrete jungles and we haven't understood nature. And so the bottom line is it keeps us from really understanding reality, family. To violate the laws of nature is to violate the laws of our Elohim. This world and this system continues to keep us operating in an artificial existence, which is anti-Elohim or anti-Christ or God. Because this realm that we exist in, this is a realm of manipulating and lies and all of these things that has enslaved us to this world. But the bottom line is the Father is about to manifest an understanding in his people that we are to be one with nature, because nature is a manifestation of his power and his sovereignty in everything. The bottom line is this world keep talking about a new world order. Really, family, that's the same old order, just under different guise, where Hasatan is the Elohim of this world. And men continue to seek after the things of this world. You know what I'm saying? That's going to cause people to be enslaved to them. But all praise to the Most High, family. The Father is about to separate us from this world, because as he gives us the favor by giving us the understanding we need, family, we ain't going to be able to be a part of this world no more. Because Father is going to use nature to separate us from this world as we understand the divine nature. As the scripture said, the whole earth will be full of the knowledge and understanding of the Most High, because we're going to be made one with nature. The Father meant for us to live by nature. He didn't mean for us to do these artificial things and the lies of technology and all this stuff, because in reality, once we truly birthed in the Spirit, we don't need none of that stuff. So, with that said, family, as I said, I'm not trying to teach you or tell you nothing. I'm just sharing some things the Father has given me, and I pray that these things would provoke you to thought, to seek the Most High for yourself, because the only way you're going to understand his will for your life, family, is your dialogue with him. You know, when Yeshua said, behold, I stand at the door and knock, and if any man open the door, I'll come in and sup with him and he with me, and me and my Father make our abode there. Yeah, that's what the born again experiences is. It's about us having dialogue with the Father. You know, it's another scripture that I'm spacing it a bit right now, but I know it says, come, let us reason together, saith the Master. So the bottom line is reasoning is dialogue, is where the Father speaks to us, we speak to him, and it's just back and forth dialogue, family, and ultimately it gives us the understanding we need to come into agreement with his desired will at this time, each step moving forward. Okay, so the bottom line is we can't do this outside of being born of his Spirit, period. So with that said, family, I want to talk about, okay, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully it's not too long, but it's some things that, you know, the Father wants us to understand. And I just put these thoughts out here, and it's up to you and between you and the Father if these things give you some kind of understanding to help in your walk even the more. Okay. See, the only way we can overcome self, family, is to understand self. The Father in this hour, family, as he continues to open up the mysteries of the kingdom, and the mysteries of the kingdom are the higher laws of the oneness of his love. So to understand what the kingdom is about, because until we begin to understand that and perceive that according to what the Father says, family, we can't repent and we can't be delivered from this carnal thinking that we've been slaves to. Okay, understanding, family, that when we talk about our nature as fallen man, okay, one of the things in the scripture, it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, okay? There's the white horse, there's the red horse, there's the black horse, and then there's the pale horse. We need to have an understanding truly, family, what these things really represent and what it's about. And so through the eyes of the spirit, family, and as I said, the things that are spirit is spirit, and the natural man cannot receive those things. So if we're receiving these understandings through the flesh that's been under a religious spirit, but it still comes down to the understanding of the flesh. We're going to misunderstand what these four horsemen are and when they was released. Because a lot of people continue to teach the reality that that's something that's going to happen at the start of the Great Tribulation period. Now, as I said, family, we can't hold the Most High to our realm of understanding as far as time and space is concerned, because he deals in the realm of eternity. We are the ones that's being forced to deal in this realm of time and space. So the bottom line is, if we're going to have any idea of what's going on in the spirit, family, we can't go by the teachings and traditions that men have taught us. We have to go to our Elohim to ask him, Father, what are you really saying here? What is it that I really need to understand of this revelation or this thing that you teaching me right now? And so I'm just presenting a couple things that the Father revealed to me. I'm just throwing at you. And the thing is, that's between you and the Most High Power. My part is just to share this stuff. So anyway, starting off with the white horse. It talked about the white horse, and it was one that sat up on the horse, and he had a bow in his hand, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Now, what the bottom line is, what that white horse is, family, it's the spirit of Antichrist. But let's go a little deeper than that, because we know an Antichrist is one who opposes the perfect will of the Most High Power. So that's anti-God, anti-Christ, all of these things, right? Okay, and so they say that's what it is, but more or less, family, what does Antichrist mean? Where does the source of his power, where does it come from? Okay, really, family, when it comes down to it, that white horse is the spirit of pride. It first showed up in Hasatan, and when Adam yielded to his own will and disobeyed the Most High, it gave Hasatan a vessel that he could manifest control and manipulation of this world. Because the bottom line is, man was given dominion over the earth. So it's Hasatan, like I said, Hasatan is the spirit of our pride in this fallen nature, family. So the bottom line is, what even backs us up all the more? Because in our flesh, as we look at our environment, what do we go forth in a spirit of? To conquer our environment, to make it what we want it to be so that we could be comfortable. And as we continue to be those things, we get lifted up in more pride. This is why I said choice is an illusion of power, family, because in reality, when it comes down to it, as a created being, we're simply subject to the will of our Creator. And as far as whether it's in truth or ignorance, you know what I'm saying? It's for him to give understanding to those who he's chosen in the season that he chooses as well. So the bottom line is, that first horse of the apocalypse is the manifestation of the spirit of man's pride that causes him to desire to rule over creation. And the only way we could rule over creation, family, is to manipulate our environment through deceit and deception. Because the reality is, family, we wasn't meant to rule the Father's creation. That right is to him. We're to rule over ourselves, our own soul, our own ruach. But we can't do it if we don't have the mind of our Creator. So we continue to go forth trying to rule the Father's creation, when in reality, it was never meant for us to rule the Father's creation. It's meant for us to rule over our own spirit, our own soul, so that we could be submitted totally to the will of our Creator, who created us to serve him. And if we don't understand what he wants and what he desires from us, because we have a dialogue with everybody else that's supposed to be representing him, and he been on the inside of us the whole time, trying to knock on the doors of our minds to get us to open it so we can fellowship with him. So the bottom line is that first spirit of that white horse is the spirit of pride. Okay? The next horse is the red horse. And it said power is given to him to take away peace from the earth, and men begin to kill one another. All right. Now, we know that red is a color of danger or violence. Okay? The bottom line is that red horse was the spirit of murder. That's what it was. See, the white horse, because white appears to be pure, right? But that white horse was what? It's the spirit of pride is what it is. It looks good on the outside, but inside it's like dead men's bones. And all it's going to do is bring forth destruction. Okay? Because knowledge without wisdom is a destructive force. It can't bring life. It can only bring destruction. Okay? Ultimately, we'll get to that one that I was getting ready to say, but I'm going to hold off. But the reality is the white horse is the spirit of pride. The red horse, because pride, originating from pride, murder comes about as there's a resistance to someone that has carried themselves in a way where they desire to hide something, okay? Something that may challenge them or whatever. So the only way they feel that they can't control the person or the being by manipulation, then that's a threat to them. They feel is a threat to them. Continuing to walk in wickedness or ignorance or darkness or whatever thing. The only thing they could think is to try to take the life of that creature that seems to be a threat to them. Okay? It's the spirit of murder. This ain't about self-defense. This is about people that desire to play God with other people's lives. So they want to control them through manipulation. And those that offer up resistance and challenging their authority or calling them to the carpet about something, the only thing they know is to shut the mouth of that person, and they desire to kill. The spirit of murder is running rampant today. And what do we see? We see innocent people being murdered. And then the thing that's so cowardly is that murderers do this stuff and then they go try to hide. But the reality is they can't hide from the Most High because they got the mark of Cain on them, and one day they will pay for taking the life of one of his living creatures that he chose to express himself to this world through. So the bottom line of murder ain't just one that takes mankind, but a murderer is anyone that takes the life of one of the Father's living creatures in which he loves, and that he chose to express himself to this world as that creature. And so the bottom line is, there was your red horse. So when Cain slew Abel, that was your red horse. That's when the red horse started. That ain't something that's coming. Family murder's been around since then. So that was your red horse. The next horse, the black horse. Okay, and it talked about there was a pair of balances in his hands. And then he said something about a measure of wheat for a penny. Now, we look at, that's the economic system. But the bottom line that actually brings about the economic system, family, is the spirit of slavery. Because the money system in this world that exists in the world is the way that those, the elite and those who are really in power, they're spreading this lie about money. This is how they put us in slavery. Because, that form of wickedness is always follow the money trail. And then you'll find out what's behind it and who's behind it. Who controls the money? Who has control over the money? Because money is really, family, in nature, in the spirit, in the kingdom of the Most High, money don't exist. Because money is the lie that Hasatan spawned. Okay, as that economic system came into being, where somebody that was in a position of authority or power, what they said, they claim what belongs to the Most High power, and they claim it as their own. And then they turn around to people that's less fortunate than them, and they say, this is mine, so if you want some of this, you got to pay me for it. When the earth is the master's and the fullness thereof. So what right does any man have to take control of the Most High's creation to deify himself so that he can lord over the people that belongs to them as well? So the bottom line, that's why Yeshua called money changers thieves, because they ain't doing nothing stealing. They didn't rightfully get that land or whatever it was, or the thing they put in a position of power. They stole it. And then they made up this BS lie to make us believe that we cannot live or function in this world unless we got money. That's a lie of Hasatan. And so as the economic system started, when men began to manipulate their brothers and stuff, as they stole from the Most High, then they claimed it to be theirs. And so the people, the everyday average people, the everyday average Joe that just desires to live and be okay and take care of his family and all that stuff, turn us into criminals because they, through money, have lied and ripped us off and stolen from the Most High. And the Most High gonna deal with that spirit too, okay? As he manifests his kingdom and his truth. So you got pride, white horse. You got murder, red horse. You got slavery, the black horse. Because that money thing, it causes famine. I mean, every evil work to enslave us. You know what I'm saying? To enslave us to the people, the elite, the ones that's really calling the shots. These are the children of Hasatan. So the bottom line is they have been given this stuff because it was ordained for them to do these things for a season. But the time is coming to an end now. And the Most High is about ready to manifest his kingdom. So all 4 of these horses is going to be done away with as it's time for his kingdom. The last horse is a pale horse, right? And that pale horse represents death. See, because anytime you mix light with dark, hot with cold, any form of mixers that bring 2 different elements together, okay? Neither one of those elements, they represent absolutes, okay? And the kingdom of the Most High is about absolutes. But as the Most High is allowed for the purpose of that he might manifest the creation process that he chose to create us in. He allowed this to happen. But Hasatan is taking the absolutes of the Most High power and he blended it and mixed them together. Okay? So what this has brought about is the spirit of death. Okay? Because death is a place where there is no absolutes. Because if there's no absolute, there's no right and wrong. There's no just and unjust. You see what I'm saying? So the bottom line is to mix and justify everything being blended together, but that blending together has caused the earth to be in the condition that it's in. Because there ain't no absolutes of the Most High divine love of his kingdom that he is about to manifest itself. So the bottom line, it said that there was a pale horse. So that's the result of the mixing. No absolute. And because there's no absolute, it causes the spirit of death to manifest itself, because the spirit of death is separation from the presence of the Most High power, because death can't manifest itself in the presence of the Most High power. Okay? So the bottom line is, and as the death is the ignorance that we walk in this world, it causes us to sin against the Most High. Okay? As a result of that sin, now you got hell on earth. because you can't tell me that this ain't hell. You know what I'm saying? This like the doorway to the lake of fire. This existence. But at the same time, it's also a doorway to obtain and make it to the kingdom of the Most High, because this is our purging and cleansing and these things that's preparing us to enter the kingdom, because those who the Most High Power has imparted or imputed his righteousness in is those that he has chosen to birth in the spirit, that makes us one mind with him. And as we go through the process of this death that we exist in right now, where there ain't no absolutes, these are the very things that the Father has chosen to try and test the Ruach that he's invested in those who he's chosen to be his people. And so those who he's chosen to be his people, family, we're going to endure no matter what we got to go through, whether it's give up the ghosts or to be purged in some kind of way or whatever. The Father has equipped every last one of his children with everything that we need through the Holy Spirit, that we're going to endure, and we're going to love the Most High no matter what we got to deal with. And this is the move of his spirit. This is why, family, we should be seeking the Most High for a greater portion of his Ruach every day. Give us this day our daily bread. Who's the bread of life? You know what I'm saying? So that same spirit that was in the bread of life, our big brother, the only begotten of the Father, that's the key. Because if we ain't born in the spirit, the scripture says that if who that has not his spirit ain't none of his. And so as we stay in this realm of death, we ain't none of his. Because in death, there ain't no absolutes. That's why the kingdom is absolutes. That's what it's about. The perfect will of the Most High is his kingdom. Because that's when everything is established according to his desires and his divine truth and what he wants to manifest and how he wants to manifest his love through his creation. But as long as we being subject and we're seeking after men and elevating men and worried about what men say, because that ain't nothing but a spirit of man worship. We shouldn't love no man, including ourselves, more than our Most High Power. But that ain't possible by being born of his spirit. It's the only way. But as I said, the spirit ain't going to drop in our lap, family. You got to seek him and ask. But the bottom line is, as we caught up in the spirit of pride, family, which is another form, going back to all these horses, is subject to that. That's where it began. You know what I'm saying? So we don't question our existence. We act like we was here and, hey, the earth is our playground. We supposed to be able to do whatever we desire, whatever brings us pleasure, whatever brings us a sense of control, even though it ain't nothing but manipulation, because in our fallen nature, that's all we do is manipulate our environment so that we can conquer. That's the spirit of pride. Okay? We have to be delivered from that. And the only way we can be delivered from that is as we are birthed in the spirit of our Creator, in the spirit of his divine love that causes us as created beings to yield to his perfect will. Because if we don't have the love of our Creator, we can't yield to his perfect will. So we continue to operate in the power of these four horsemen. See, the horse, in either case, the horse represents the power. The riders of the horse is the spirits that's on that horse. So it controls that power of darkness. So the bottom line is we must understand, family, we have to be delivered from the four horsemen of the apocalypse, because our very nature is tied up in them, in this fallen condition, when we subject to our lower nature. The only one that can deliver us from that family is the Most High Power himself. And as I said, Yeshua as his only begotten son, and that only begotten son, family, that was him that was born of the spirit through the seed of the woman. Because the bottom line is, as I said, it just amazes me. I don't see how, if we can believe that the Father brought us forth from the dust of the ground, then what the heck is so hard to believe that the Father could impregnate a woman without the man's seed? What's so freaking hard about that? I don't understand that madness. That cats is walking around talking about, yeah, Joseph's the father and all that stuff. He said in the beginning, after the fall, he said he's going to put enmity between the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman. And when he said that, it was destined to bring forth his only begotten son that was born of the Spirit by his choice. So as created being, family, what kind of freaking pride is that to make us think and put limitations on the Most High Power and what he can and what he can't do? He's the creator. Nature is subject to him. And if that's what he chose to do, I believe it wholeheartedly. And any other child of the Most High don't put the Most High in no box and put him in a cage and then tell him what he can't do. That's freaking madness. See, that's pride. Okay, because man think he's in control. He think he's supposed to rule. He has no understanding of self, so he can't rule nothing but by manipulation. That's cheating. It's witchcraft. That's the only way man rules. That the created being is subject to the lies of the one that's doing the ruling. Family, for the child of the Most High Power, that is non-acceptable. It's unacceptable. So the bottom line is we desire to be birthed of the Spirit so that we can come into understanding what the Father's doing and what he desires from us as his child in season. So the bottom line is, until we know ourselves, we can't understand the reality, family, that we are worst enemy. It's our understanding of self and pride, family, that causes us to deify ourselves. You know, people say, is lifting up Hasatan. Man, Hasatan is the spirit of our pride. It's lifting up self. As I said, I heard a devil worshiper. He said it plain as day. He said, it ain't that we serving Satan. He said, we serving our own selves. Because Hasatan is the spirit of fallen man's pride. So it causes us to act just like Hasatan. The only way we could be delivered from that is to be born again. And the only way we can be born again, you got to desire to be born again. We have to cry out to the Father, see his face, question our existence, start asking ourselves, what's this really about? Why am I here? What am I really supposed to be doing? Who else can we ask that question, family, but the Most High Power? Because nobody else was listening. You know what I'm saying? We don't have the power to deliver ourselves. Everything we do because of our perception of our mind. The Most High says, who puts wisdom in the inward parts and give understanding to the heart? That's him. So during this process of good and evil and all this stuff, the bottom line is, hey, that's what he chose to do. And to me, it makes absolute sense on how he can define those who really love him. So the bottom line is we have to be tried and tested, and that's what this existence is all about, family. Until we understand that reality, family, we're lost and living a lie. We can't judge the Most High. He chose to do it, family. All praise to him. Whatever he says, that's what goes. And I know, as far as my own life, I want to be in agreement with the Most High Power in every area of my life. I want to be well with him because I understand that as I'm at that place, I ain't in sin against him. That's how we can have continual dialogue. And it's the same for all of us. If you have dialogue with the Most High, anything that's not in him, that's against his perfect will, he gonna make it plain in your life. And I'm telling you, as the love of him that he put in you as his child, you're gonna submit to his will. And whatever that thing is, you're gonna drop it. Promise you. He's the Most High Power. We was created to serve him in his righteousness according to his perfect will. And there's no way we can do these things, family, as long as we continue to be servile to men, or what's the word I'm trying to say? Subservient to man. Yeshua came to eliminate the priesthood of men. We don't even understand priesthood, what it's about. Reason Yeshua is our high priest, family, is because he showed us the example of what the Father wants from us. He was an example. He lived it. He didn't just speak it. He lived it, though. And he had the most high favor on his life because of his obedience and his understanding. So the bottom line is we're supposed to be the chosen nation that takes the truth to the world. In our present condition, family, how are we going to do that? The Father has to change us. He has to open up our mind and our understanding to see where we stand with him, so ultimately we can become who and what he desires us to be a witness or a light to this world. And as I said, family, the Most High made us all unique. He didn't mean for us to be like anybody else, because imitation is not the real thing. So the bottom line is that best we could be, the Father desired for us to be ourselves, but with the understanding of his mind. And unless we're born in the Spirit, we don't have the understanding of his mind. So therefore, we continue to walk in the power of our flesh, which causes us to continue to deify ourselves, which all is blasphemy of the Most High power. Because the blaspheming spirit is the blaspheming Father. Nobody getting away with that one, family. And that's what we need to understand, the reality that anything that opposes the perfect will of the kingdom is blasphemy. That's why it's not going to be forgiven. Because a person that's lifted up in pride, they desire to be their own Elohim. So they don't desire to, see what I'm saying? Because in their own mind, they Elohim themselves. And as I said, people die in their sin, and that's rejecting the Most High power in his ways. Guess what? They're going to spend eternity separated from the beauty and the oneness of his divine love. And what people don't realize, that is the worst thing ever. There ain't nothing worse than that. It was so horrible that Yeshua didn't want to do that. He didn't want to experience that. But he was obedient to the Father. He didn't think of himself first. He knew he came to this world to redeem the Father's creation from our wicked blankety blanks. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line is we got to see ourselves for real through the eyes of our Creator. And until we start questioning our existence and seeking his face, we ain't going to never do that. So therefore, it's not going to be no repentance. So therefore, we're not going to make the kingdom, the righteous kingdom of the Most High power, where everything will be one, and there'll be absolutes and no middle grounds, and everything will be straight. Because anything that brings forth, that causes the flow of life to cease or breaks the flow of life, that is going to inherit the least side of the kingdom and everything that was a part of that. So, with that said, family, I just hope that I said something that, give you something to think about. As I said, family, I ain't no teacher, I ain't no prophet, I ain't none of that stuff. I wouldn't dare take on no prophet or nothing. I'm just an everyday average brother that's trying to understand what the Most High brought me into this world for, so that I could serve him fully in what he desires. And I understand he wants me to be myself, but with the understanding of his mind. And as we continue to be filled with his spirit, we see ourselves through his eyes, so then we begin to walk in our purpose. Because as we become accountable before the Most High, is what the Ruach does. We become accountable, and as we become accountable, then, family, we can begin to understand the things we need to walk in our responsibility. And our responsibility right now, family, is to seek the Father and understanding our place in him, so that he can pour out and bring forth that Ruach that he's invested in us, that we overcome all this, and ultimately one day get to hear those words, "Well done, thou faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master." So, family, I guess that's all I got for now. But, until next time, family, I pray that The Most High continues to keep you and watch over you and lead and guide your steps to the kingdom as long as you continue to seek him for yourself. Because if we go by the words of any other person in this world, we are choosing to be willfully ignorant. And therefore, we ain't going to make the kingdom because we're going to choose our own way. So anyway, family, with that said, I'll say till next time, one love and shalom.